Welcome to the Premium Mindset, the weekly podcast where homegrown entrepreneurs and business owners, Evan Ritchey and Cameron Bawden, share the good, the bad, and the ugly of modern entrepreneurship and reveal what really happens behind the scenes of their personal and professional lives. As owners of two of America's fastest growing and most disruptive companies, Coconut Cleaning and Green Mango Pest Control, stay tuned for real stories, struggles, insight, and advice from real entrepreneurs in real time.
What's going on, everyone? It's holiday season, and we are going to discuss the dynamics of the holidays as a business and entrepreneur.
The holidays just aren't the holidays anymore as an owner.
They really aren't. And that
that's why I said that.
that comes from the initial stresses of starting the business. And then they always say, like, entrepreneurs always say, like, there's going to be no presents under the tree. And then I started the business in September 2017 with you. And I'm like, there's no presents under the tree for first few Christmases and holidays. But let's talk.
You're joking, right?
No, I'm dead serious. But let's talk a little bit about like the topic of holidays and my experience and your experience with them, because there's a lot more that's added to your plate as it pertains to the holidays. And that is how you want to represent your company during the holidays, how much time you want to give off with people that work for you.
What kind of parties you want to have or give to as employee appreciation. Yeah,
there's like a corporation thing in America that like they give holiday bonuses and people are like, hey, I'm like, that's like Bank of America and Chase. But it definitely has changed for me. And I think what's cool between you and I, at least from an operational standpoint, because obviously you're owner in Coconut, is that Coconut's busiest time of the year is the holidays, like November, December, and it's actually Green Mango's slowest time of the year.
Yeah.
And so let's just quickly discuss those dynamics. But why is it in the pest control industry that like the colder seasons, like it's just dead around here for pest control?
Well, just simply because of when it's hotter outside, there's more activity. And in the wintertime, the insects bed down and kind of not hibernate, but they seek that shelter.
Yeah.
And so people just aren't seeing as much activity. And when people don't see activity, they're not calling in. But I love what Lexi talked about before we started this is for different companies, the holiday season could be the most busy time of year for them. As a service company at Green Mango, we might not be seeing the growth that we want to see, but we still have this customer base of, hey, we need to come out every 7 to 8 weeks and take care of you. And during the holiday season, it's rough, man, when people request off because you want to give it to everyone. Everyone has family here and there. But as a business, and you still have your expenses that month, right? And you still have those customers you have to service in order to pay those expenses and pay the technicians or any of the employees. But what becomes difficult is when you have to say no to someone that wants to go see their parents, across the country, and you're just like, hey, 2 other people already requested off. We can't give it to you. I'm sorry. That hurts.
Genuinely curious. Like your process right now, is it seniority? Is it first come, first serve?
First come, first serve.
Okay.
And I don't know at what point with your business size, and maybe you've seen it at Coconut, but in the past, we used to just give it to everybody. Hey, if you requested off, we want to try and help you out.
Yeah.
And because we want you to go see your family. Like, that's important. The work-life balance we talk about. But we had to, probably within the past 4 or 5 years, really crack down and say, hey, when we look at, so our thing is the rule of 7, if we're talking about technicians, for every manager, there's 7 people underneath them. And then we usually have 1 to 2 rovers. In the wintertime, 1 rover, which is an extra person when someone calls off.
Yeah.
We only let 1 person per team, request and get accepted for their time off, because anything over that, we have to service those customers, and that rover has to be able to still be there. And even then it kind of hurts us.
So
if someone calls off.
That's like from a labor standpoint, I'm actually again curious now. From a marketing standpoint, how do you stay relevant during a season where people are not thinking of bugs? How do you try to, one, maintain the service when people aren't seeing bugs, but how do you change your marketing budget in the holidays to stay relevant? Do you change your approach? Like, how do you guys approach that?
So for us, I always make, I talk about, it's not like in the summertime before it heats up, people just drive down the road and start throwing roaches and crickets out.
Right.
And so what we try and do is educate our customers that the better we can treat in the wintertime, the less activity that they'll see in the summer. So because we use the truck mounted power sprayers, we're getting product deep down into the second and third layers of thatch where those insects, like I said, are going down and harboring in the wintertime. So if we can get them while they're just chilling there sitting, there's not going to be any bugs that pop in the summertime. So our best work happens right now in the wintertime, believe it or not.
Oh, interesting. What I love in observing about you with the holidays is that I've noticed you've gone outside of, we'll talk about holiday parties in a second, but I feel like you've gone above and beyond for those people that choose to work on Black Friday or just in that week in general around Christmas or New Year's, that if you do come here, you will see that there's food. There was even a time where you paid time and a half on certain days. So as an entrepreneur, how have you been able to position yourself in taking care of the people who choose to work during the times where you really need them, but a lot of people want off?
I feel like I've been talking a lot about this, but the better communication we have with our people, the impact that it makes.
Yeah.
That if we have 15 or 16,000 customers to service this month and you guys want to take time off, we need you to work, this couple of Saturdays before that week to service your customers. And when we help them understand the greater picture, that if you say you're going to be here on Friday and we let someone else on your team go visit their parents out of state, but then you call off Friday because you're just tired, you didn't want to come in, whatever it might be, you're putting the company in a bad position, because if we don't have a savings account, we just lost money on that route, and we need that to pay our bills.
So it's been a team effort. One, over communicating how important it is to maintain the customers. For the people that go above and beyond, they're like, hey, Cam, like even if it's Thanksgiving, I'll come work. What have been some best practices for you to really take care of those people who are like, hey, I got you during this? Has it been time and a half? Has it been extra holiday pay, or has it been like food when they do come to the office? Because I have noticed that you guys do that.
Yeah,
or maybe that's just been the managers. I'm not sure.
I don't think we've done a great job at that, to be honest. But I think maybe you've done it at Coconut. I didn't even know that there was food on Friday. That wasn't something for me. I love hearing that. So yeah, has it worked at Coconut?
Well, yeah, I do remember coming here a couple years ago. It was Black Friday because we were open at Coconut, and just a little dynamics in the difficulty of holidays is these are obviously more important, or I should be careful. These are bigger holidays, right? But then there are other holidays where it's very up to the business if they want to take time off. But for Coconut, our most requested days are Saturdays and holidays. Mm-hmm. And so I've had a difficult time, but to your point, getting the buy-in of the people has been huge, is having everyone understand like, hey, I know you want to be off on Memorial Day or Labor Day, but that's when people are like, hey, I'm going to be home. I want you guys there. And so for us at Coconut, especially November and December, we've gone out of our way to say, hey, when people choose to come in and work those extra hours, we've done like food. We've done like, hey, here's a little gift card to Target or Walmart to help with spending, just because we do acknowledge that it's difficult telling your family like, hey, I do have to come and work on Black Friday, or I have to work on New Year's Eve. I think we still do New Year's Eve. We just don't do the day after New Year's Eve. We don't try that.
Learned that lesson.
Yeah, we learned that lesson. We don't attempt that anymore. But let's make a shift over to the holiday parties, because I know it's been fun talking about how much we spent on the Halloween party as we, in the same meeting, talking about the budget for certain parties. We're now prepping for the holiday party. And I want to tee this one up. The most requested party has been what we're about to do on December 13th. And that is at your dad's house for the casino night. And I think it's so funny because it was almost like thrown together, like, oh crap, let's do something at Cameron's dad's house. Like, I just remember
thrown together, man.
No, I'm just kidding.
Put so much effort into that.
Oh, really? I didn't know. Like, tell me about it, because people still talk about it 4 or 5 years later.
You know what I found with holiday or any type of event is that when they see that you're having to, like, they almost love seeing the owners work.
Yeah.
So when we're on the grills or we're out there doing whatever, putting the event on, directing the food trucks or being the MC, whatever it might be, people love seeing that for whatever reason, as opposed to some years we rent out main event. And it's not like they don't appreciate it. What I found is employees love when they see that you're like putting in the sweat and tears.
So why do you do holiday parties over a holiday bonus? I'm asking. I'm a little frustrated. I'm just kidding.
There's a couple different ways as a business talks about bonuses and commissions. We've decided as a company that we want to give bonuses on a bi-weekly basis depending on their performance. So we're a huge advocate for performance for the performance pay scale, which means that we're loading those bonuses that you would get at the end of the year. A lot of companies just do like a salary or an hourly and then a percentage of profits at the end of the year. And we just haven't done that. So when we think about our end of the year holiday party, it's less about all the bonus check that you see on TVs where the boss hands you $5 or $10,000. We distribute that throughout the year, which helps us big time on cash flow. And so then when we're talking about the party, we still give away a bunch of gifts, but it's more like a raffle or to, a few people and then like a party gift.
Yeah. And I think I haven't really thought of it like that. I haven't really explained it. And that is a very understandable that we want our people receiving their commissions based on performance throughout the year. And then on top of that, we also do the holiday party. And so I'm excited for the one that we have coming up. I think we probably have our highest attendance there. I know that we were at Green Mango West Valley, or the West Valley Green Mango branch, and they were telling us like, hey, like this is the one we all like really love to come to. And we put a lot of effort into it. And so as it pertains to the holidays, there's a lot of dynamics you have to balance as an entrepreneur, from one, paying your own bills, but also finding creative ways to allow your people to feel appreciated. I think the routing team like decorated their own desks and like presents, and
I love it. They wrapped the dividers to look like a present, which I thought was cool.
Yeah. And so it's cool that you've been able to allow an environment where people can bring their own creative input to certain holidays.
There's certain things I still don't like.
Like what?
Like when they cluster their desks with food or sticky notes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the decorations I love.
Yeah. No, you love the order.
Like
you
and still have order. I don't just because I'm a big person on branding, not only outward, but inward. And it's hard. It's a hard balance. People want to put up pictures of their family, but we've made the rule, hey, let's like one picture of your family is sufficient as opposed to 6 different ones with 2 of them of your dog. Like, come on.
Right.
It just looks cluttered.
Right. Again, I love how you do allow people to come in and bring their own creative input on the holidays. Bottom line, I love the holiday season, especially at Coconut. We've done a lot of creative ways. Our marketing team has been super fun on finding ways to incorporate what's important to us, which is sales. Yeah. But then also saying, hey, at Coconut, let us be one of your stocking stuffers. Let us be a Christmas present and get a, gift card. Pay $100 for a $200 gift card. And that's been super fun. And watching our people do fun and exciting things like historically we've done with Coconut, like a little customer appreciation event that we've done around the holiday season, which has been super fun. But
I was just going to say a question that I get a lot is, how do you go about determining a budget for your holiday party? And for us, we've just looked at it per head. And I know that sounds really simple, but because in the past we were just like, hey, let's spend 15, 20, 30 grand. But when we look at, okay, what kind of experience can we give each individual? It all comes down to per head. And that helps us know, okay, this is where we're at. And I was validated. I was at dinner with Tommy the other night and they were talking about their holiday party and they were talking, that's how they do their events too. Hey, our CFO gave us our holiday budget. He gave us, I don't want to say because I don't know if it's confidential, but they gave us X amount of money per head. That's what I get to work with this year. So very clear, crisp, to the point, and you know what you're working with.
I feel like that's been the behind the scenes approach. What I feel like is organically happening over time is we are gathering, because people are staying here longer and longer. And I think it's something you and I question every day.
Like tenure?
Yeah,
Okay.
their tenure is increasing longer and longer. And what happens with that is that the longer people stay, the more that they can contrast and say, hey, I really like the main event. I really like Cameron's dad's house. I didn't like the party here.
The feedback is great.
Yeah. And so what's been great about some systems that you put in place is that we're getting immediate feedback for parties.
Yeah.
And then we're essentially taking the budget to them and saying, this is what we have. What do you guys want to do? And I feel like collectively, as we move into 2024, that most holidays and employee appreciation is becoming a tailored thing.
Well, I was just going to add too, if you're a business owner out there and you don't budget per head, you're going to go over budget, or you're going to spend more than you want because you don't have a budget. I promise you that. Everything adds up and you're going to have to make sacrifices. Kate was calling me today. Hey, you know, we're making the decision, more decorations or our custom poker chips. And I just said, what do you think is going to go, you know, further for us? What's going to make the biggest impact? We'll see what she chooses.
Okay. I was like, I don't know what the answer is, but
I think it's poker chips, but
right.
I'm not a girl that loves decorations. Liz says it's all about decorations at the event. I don't know.
I love it. But again, you're giving the power back to the people to, again, bring a creative touch to the holiday. So there's, again, going into business, there's a lot of new dynamics that you're going to face going into the holidays. That is finding the balance between allowing your people to enjoy the holidays, but also maintaining your business and keeping it afloat and finding the best way to enjoy it as much as possible.
Not to mention the third payroll in December that happens. Like that just hurts you. And if you let your company know, going back to helping them understand the bigger picture, like that's a huge burden on a company to carry 3 payrolls. And we make up for it in January, but we have to have a savings for that payroll in December.
Well, explain that.
And then if someone calls off, we go into the hole even more.
Most employees are like, wait, there's 3 payrolls in December? Yes. So like explain that only happens twice a year, yeah?
Yeah. So
it's a lot. Just imagine, I mean, I don't know if you're comfortable saying the, you know, payroll amount for Green Mango on any given payroll. But
it's north of, I mean, it's between $400,000 and $450,000 just for Green Mango every 2 weeks.
It's a moment of silence for that. So 3 payrolls adds an extra $450,000 baked into the month.
Mm-hmm. And then if 2 or 3 techs on each zone call off, it hurts, man. Or if we say, hey, we want to take off 2 days instead of 1 day, there goes another $80,000 in revenue from 1 day. But we still have our expenses as if we were in business that day.
Goodness.
And then accounts receivable might go from 8 to 11 days. And now we just lost, 3 days of revenue.
So budget wisely.
There's $240,000. So like $300,000, $350 adds up quickly by a couple call offs, taking an extra day, and the third payroll.
So real quick, explain the dynamics of.
I was hoping you would explain it because I don't understand it perfectly, but
yeah, I'm happy to explain. So again, Merry Christmas to everyone. There's 3 payrolls in December. Yeah, essentially there's 26 pay periods, 2 months of the year. It ends up being, I know that we did the math a little bit earlier. We looked at the dates where it just really depends on that first pay period of the year. It'll indicate whether you have June and December or March and September. So that's just what happens. And
by the way, it's good news for the employees, bad news for us. As long as we're a smart company on budget and saving money, it's the roller coaster of cash flow, and we just, we prepare for it. But that's why it's so important to stay on budget.
Yep. But again, holidays super fun. It's broadened my appreciation of the holidays doing business, and it's definitely been more fun for me to hear from people that share the little Christmas stories that they have or the little Thanksgiving stories they have because of their employment here. So it's definitely a season of giving. Truly in December, it will be a season of giving and it's a season of gratitude. And I think it's one of the greatest honors to be a business owner during the holiday season. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
Merry Christmas, man.
Merry Chrysler. Chances to hit 100. If he doesn't hit it, lunch for the office.
Oh, good.
Okay.
If he does hit it, everyone has to commit to coming to the holiday party.
Can I wear my Christmas dress too, please? It's mandatory.
Yes.